Chapter 2364. The Origin of the Battle Realm, the Struggle of Worlds. In the Battle Realm, continents floated like stars. Each continent had its own sun, moon, and stars, but these celestial bodies were fake, created through special formations. The rules in the Battle Realm were different from those in the Great World. Only Sky Patrol fighters could leave their own continent, but they couldn't fly far. Sky Patrol fighters could only patrol their own skies and couldn't go to other continents. A powerful force bound them, suppressing them. Only when one reached the level of a starfighter could they freely leave their continent. At that time, they would discover new worlds and see other continents. When a starfighter appeared on a continent, it meant that this continent would soon engage in battles with other continents. Starfighters would lead their people to fight other continents to gain more resources. However, they were also restricted. Continents with starfighters and those without were not in the same region. In other words, continents without starfighters were protected. The continents that fought each other totaled 100, no more, no less. If the number decreased, new continents would fill in. Lin Moyu used Resurrection of the Dead to revive a battle emperor, thereby understanding the structure of the battle realm. In Lin Moyu's view, the battle realm was more like a world of rules set by the purple-robed celestial venerable. The starry sky of the battle realm was silent. A space gate appeared in the starry sky, unnoticed by anyone. Lin Moyu saw floating continents. Through his undead vision, he saw many living beings on these continents, but none were particularly powerful. The 100 continents with starfighters had already been defeated, leaving only a few scattered starfighters with limited strength. The strongest beings on the remaining continents were Sky Patrol fighters, equivalent to the Saint Sovereigns of the human race. However, due to the rules set by the purple-robed celestial venerable, these Sky Patrol fighters couldn't even leave their own continents. They were trapped, their knowledge and experiences far inferior to the Saint Sovereigns of the Great World. They were like snakes trapped in a well, with a lid preventing them from climbing out. No matter how venomous, they couldn't break the lid. Lin Moyu didn't slaughter the continents, although he could. It wasn't necessary. He had a better, simpler option. The battle realm was not large, less than 1% of the Great World. Lin Moyu quickly reached the core of the battle realm and saw its origin. The origin of the battle realm seemed to sense danger and began to tremble. The origin had powerful protection, but after the destruction of the 100 continents and the Battle Emperor Palace, its defensive capabilities had significantly weakened. Previously, Lin Moyu would have had to put in some effort, but now it was much easier. The origin of the battle realm had no intelligence, only instinct, and was known as the World Will. The World Will identified Lin Moyu as an enemy and a threat, and it would retaliate. In the battle realm, lightning flashed and thunder roared, with countless bolts striking towards Lin Moyu. The undying golden body activated automatically, and the bone hell appeared, swallowing all the lightning. The origin of the battle realm made its final resistance, but it was futile. Lin Moyu shook his head lightly.
It's useless. There's only one path for the defeated.
Lin Moyu reached out, passing through the myriad lightning bolts, and touched the origin of the battle realm. Supreme-level soul power surged forward, transforming into the soul fire, refining the origin of the battle realm. The world will of the battle realm resisted desperately, not wanting to be refined by Lin Moyu. If the purple-robed celestial venerable were still around, he could control the origin of the battle realm to fight back. But now, even the purple-robed celestial venerable was dead, and the weak instinctive will of the battle realm's origin couldn't resist Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu's supreme-level soul power gradually refined the battle realm. Information about the battle realm was transmitted to him, revealing everything that had happened in the battle realm. He understood the origin of the battle realm. The realm sea was boundless, and the purple-robed celestial venerable appeared above it. He threw something into the realm sea, which looked like a continent, floating with the waves. Then he cast a spell, injecting immense power into it, activating the object. Huge waves surged in the realm sea, and a world gradually formed within the waves. Lin Moyu murmured,
So this is how the battle realm was formed. Then what about the great world? Was it also created by some powerful being?
Thinking along these lines, Lin Moyu connected it to the great world. If the battle realm was formed this way, how was the great world formed? He thought further.
The heavenly dragon once said that there are no powerful beings behind the current great world. If the great world was created by a powerful being, and that being is now gone, did something happen to them? What is the world beyond the great world like? Have we always been living in a world created by someone else?
Lin Moyu's thoughts were chaotic, filled with various speculations. The refining continued without pause, and the origin of the battle realm seemed to accept its fate, ceasing its resistance. After creating the battle realm, the purple-robed celestial venerable infused it with his will, establishing various rules. Initially, the battle realm had only one continent, which later split into multiple continents over a long period. The core part became the Battle Emperor Palace. The purple-robed celestial venerable continuously injected power, aiding the growth of the battle realm. The battle realm grew slowly, and the purple-robed celestial venerable watched it from the realm sea for 1,000 years. For the battle realm, 10 million years had passed. After 10 million years, life finally began to appear on the continents of the battle realm. According to the purple-robed celestial venerable's will, these beings resembled humans by 80 to 90%. The purple-robed celestial venerable then passed down cultivation methods, and the beings began to cultivate and grow stronger. Lin Moyu discovered that the cultivation methods in the battle realm were not created by the purple-robed celestial venerable but were inherent in the object that formed the world. Another 100 years passed, equivalent to 1,000,000 years in the battle realm. Finally, a cultivator became a starfighter, and the purple-robed celestial venerable appointed him as the first battle emperor. As a battle emperor, he continued to cultivate, but no matter how hard he tried, his realm remained at the low-level starfighter. Later, new starfighters appeared, but with the purple-robed celestial venerable's will, the battle emperor's strength surpassed other starfighters. When the battle realm had 100 starfighters, it encountered its first world in the realm sea. The two worlds fought fiercely, and the other world, not much stronger than the battle realm, was ultimately defeated and devoured by the battle realm. After devouring a world, the battle realm grew stronger, and the highest realm advanced from low-level to mid-level starfighter. This was the first battle of the battle realm, and the purple-robed celestial venerable did not intervene. The other world also had a celestial venerable behind it, who, like the purple-robed celestial venerable, remained vigilant but did not interfere. They were like two chess players watching each other while letting their pieces fight. Later, the battle realm encountered several more worlds. It was fortunate to encounter weaker worlds each time. The battle realm continued to devour worlds and grow until it encountered the Great World, where its winning streak finally ended. Lin Moyu understood what a world struggle was, a cruel and bloody conflict. Every world struggle came at the cost of blood.
It seems that the celestial venerables of the great world were indeed kind-hearted. Unfortunately, their kindness was a mistake.
2365 Chapter 2365. The Golden Lotus Buddha provokes the Tao Venerable. The origin of the battle realm was finally refined, and the weak world will of the battle realm was erased. The purple-robed celestial venerable was also dead, and now Lin Moyu had become the new master of the battle realm. He could freely control the origin of the battle realm and manipulate everything within the battle realm. At this moment, he finally understood what the object thrown out by the purple-robed celestial venerable was called.
The primordial world. So that thing is called the primordial world.
The primordial world can evolve into a world, but it cannot revert back to the primordial world once it has become a world. Lin Moyu also couldn't revert the battle realm back to its original state.
The battle realm is already under control. Next, I should erase everything within the battle realm.
Killing intent flickered in Lin Moyu's eyes. What he wanted, what the great world wanted, was only the origin of the battle realm. As for the beings within the battle realm, they were all useless. Lin Moyu's will spread throughout the entire battle realm. The remaining continents in the battle realm all set sail and began to converge. The space of the battle realm twisted according to Lin Moyu's will, and the continents flew at speeds far exceeding the speed of light. The people of the battle realm, still on their continents, were completely unaware of what was happening outside. It wasn't until the continents were very close that someone suddenly saw other continents in the sky.
What is that? It looks like a piece of land. It seems like it's going to collide with us. Oh my God, that thing is coming right at us.
The people of the battle realm on various continents were in a panic. However, Lin Moyu did not let the continents collide. He only brought them close to each other. Thousands of continents were ultimately concentrated within a range of less than 1 light year. They were arranged neatly like an army.
You can start feeding now.
Lin Moyu's heart was as cold as steel. In the face of world struggles, he had no mercy. If the battle realm had won, those starfighters would have wiped out the human race from the great world just as thoroughly. The battle realm had done this before. In the worlds they had defeated, no living beings survived, not even a single insect. The bone hell appeared on the continents, swallowing all the thousands of continents. Terrifying hell spirits pounced like wolves, and 10 suns hung in the sky. Hellfire, like rivers and seas, swept across. The flowers of the other shore swayed, scattering countless rays of light, making the people of the battle realm weak and powerless.
The beings of an entire world. I wonder if they are enough for the bone hell to advance.
Lin Moyu was uncertain. The requirements for the bone hell to advance were extremely high. During the previous great battle, it had already devoured part of the origin power and later devoured 100 continents. Even so, the bone hell only expanded from 2 light years to 3 light years. The strength and number of hell spirits did not increase. The bone hell was still in the stage of quantitative change, far from qualitative change. One by one, the undead legions launched attacks, rushing to various places. Lin Moyu saw that there were still dozens of star fighters hidden in the battle realm. They had no power, calling themselves free fighters. They did not participate in any continental battles, only wanting to cultivate freely. Now, their freedom would also come to an end. In the distant Great Shami realm, several ancient heavenly Buddhas arrived together. They saw the dead Golden Lotus Buddha. The Golden Lotus Buddha's body was completely shattered, his soul entirely annihilated, and blood was everywhere. A horrifying scene. One of the ancient heavenly Buddhas took out a bronze mirror.
Let's see what happened.
The bronze mirror was activated, flying into the air, emitting thousands of rays of light, and time began to reverse. The power of time and space emanated from the bronze mirror, and in the projection of the bronze mirror, the moment when the Golden Lotus Buddha was killed appeared. At that time, the Golden Lotus Buddha was preaching, and suddenly he exploded without any warning. The image froze at the moment when the Golden Lotus Buddha was blown up. Another ancient heavenly Buddha took out a pen, infused it with Buddha power, and a drop of black and white ink condensed at the tip. The ink passed through the time reversal and fell on the Golden Lotus Buddha. After a few breaths, a black and white line flew out, heading into the distance. The ancient heavenly Buddha's eyes drooped, and the pen in his hand kept trembling slightly, with the black and white line always connected to the pen. After a moment, there was a soft sound, and the line broke. The ancient heavenly Buddha showed some surprise and chanted,
Amiba, it has gone deep into the realm sea. The distance is too far. The causal line has reached its limit.
Several ancient heavenly Buddhas simultaneously showed bitter expressions. They used a treasure to reverse time and found the moment when the Golden Lotus Buddha was killed. Then they used the causal pen to trace the cause and effect to find the murderer. But they never expected that the murderer was so far away. An ancient heavenly Buddha murmured,
To attack the Golden Lotus Buddha from such a distance, and to deliver a fatal blow without any reaction time, this is not something a celestial venerable can do, at least a Tao venerable.
Another Buddha said,
How could the Golden Lotus Buddha have offended a Tao venerable? That is unknown. Perhaps the Golden Lotus Buddha was plotting something. You all know that the Golden Lotus Buddha was best at scheming. Sigh, scheming back and forth, in the end, he schemed himself to death. What a pity. The great Shami realm needs a new master.
Although the Buddhas were somewhat dissatisfied with the death of the Golden Lotus Buddha, they did not think of avenging him. After all, to achieve this, at least a Tao Venerable was involved. If these ancient heavenly Buddhas went to seek revenge against a Tao Venerable, it would be pure suicide. After some discussion, they decided to report the matter truthfully. As for how those above would decide, it was not their concern. The bone hell devoured thousands of continents and countless beings, finally growing significantly. Its range reached 5 light years, but only its range increased. The number of hell spirits did not increase, nor did their strength. Lin Moyu could feel that the bone hell had reached another bottleneck and needed an opportunity to advance. Lin Moyu knew what the bone hell needed: origin power. The origin of the battle realm was an excellent material for advancement, a world-class origin crystal, and it was of the 4th rank. Using it on the bone hell would be too wasteful. The bone hell was not in a hurry to advance. The primary task now was to let the great world devour the origin of the battle realm. The continents in the battle realm under the ravages of the bone hell were completely destroyed. Those so-called free starfighters were also killed one by the undead legions. By the time Lin Moyu left, the battle realm was empty, lifeless, and had become a completely dead world. As the origin of the battle realm was taken away by Lin Moyu, the aura of the battle realm became increasingly lifeless, making it impossible for ordinary beings to survive in such an environment. If it weren't for the mutual fusion with the great world, the battle realm would have collapsed the moment it lost its origin. In the Divine City, the human Emperor, Star Elder, Red Star Supreme, For Origin Divine Beasts, Moon Anner, and the 100 Battle Supreme were all patiently waiting for the result. They believed in Lin Moyu, but they also feared any unexpected events. The space gate suddenly lit up, and Lin Moyu flew out from it.
He's back!
The human Emperor and Star Elder were overjoyed. To them, it didn't matter whether he succeeded or not, as long as Lin Moyu returned safely. The vermilion bird exclaimed,
Such rich origin power! Did you succeed?
Lin Moyu smiled slightly.
Mission accomplished.
He took out the origin of the battle realm. The refined origin of the battle realm looked like a world-class origin crystal. It was larger and more dazzling than an ordinary origin crystal. The Red Star Supreme said,
It seems I don't have to wander anymore.
The vermilion bird urged,
Quickly, give it to the great world.
2366 Chapter 2366 Exhausting all available power. Lin Moyu did not delay and went directly to the origin of the great world, sending the origin of the battle realm over. The great world also had a faint instinctive will. Because Lin Moyu was born in the great world and bore its mark, the origin of the great world did not reject him. Lin Moyu transmitted his thoughts through his soul and placed the origin of the battle realm next to the origin of the great world.
Eat as much as you can.
The origin of the great world sensed Lin Moyu's consciousness and slowly absorbed the origin of the battle realm. Lin Moyu felt as if he was feeding the great world.
Did the former celestial venerables also feed the origin like this? What did they feel?
As Lin Moyu pondered, he suddenly found his consciousness connected to the origin of the great world. He had arrived at the origin of the great world.
Vast, boundless, majestic, noble.
Various words couldn't fully describe the great world. Lin Moyu felt an indescribable sense of familiarity. Although he had transmigrated from his previous life, in this life he belonged to the great world. He saw the runes of the great world, not through a small black hole, but truly standing before them. He saw the origin of the battle realm being devoured and refined, and the great world was repairing itself. The runes of the great world were the core of the entire world. The battle realm was evolved from a continent, while the great world was evolved from these runes. The previously damaged runes were being rapidly repaired. The 4 origin divine beasts showed comfortable smiles. The vermilion bird murmured,
I can feel it. The origin of the great world is recovering.
The azure dragon let out a low hum.
I can feel it too.
The black tortoise said,
It's time for us to return.
The white tiger looked around, seemingly reluctant to leave this world, but finally it resolutely said,
Return.
From ancient times to the present, the four origin divine beasts had finally completed their mission. Now the great world finally had hope for rebirth. They instinctively chose to return, letting the origin return and helping the great world. If anyone was most loyal to the great world, it was them. The four origin divine beasts were enveloped in a glow and resolutely rushed towards the origin of the great world. They turned into streams of light and returned to the origin. In an instant, the recovery speed of the runes of the great world accelerated significantly. Lin Moyu guessed what had happened and whispered,
Farewell, seniors.
The aura emitted by the runes of the great world became increasingly noble. At this moment, Lin Moyu saw coffins behind the runes of the great world suddenly emitting light. Strands of origin power flew out from the coffins, entering the runes of the great world, further accelerating the recovery speed. Lin Moyu felt wills emanating from these origins. These were the wills of supremes. For countless years, from ancient times to even earlier eras, countless supremes had died in the great world. After their deaths, part of their origin naturally returned, and their bodies were sent to this place by the origin of the great world for burial. The area near the origin was like a void cemetery, and no one knew how many powerful beings were buried here. Perhaps there were not only supremes but also celestial venerables. They were buried here, immortal through the ages, and their bodies still contained some origin power. These origins were now activated and sent into the runes of the great world. This was also the last reserve of the great world. Lin Moyu felt that the great world would save itself, and this was one of its ways. Normally, using these reserves would have no effect, but now, these reserves could play a crucial role. Lin Moyu could feel the wills of ancient powerful beings from the coffins. They were willing to give everything for the great world, even in death becoming the foundation of the great world. They were all children of the great world, deeply attached to it. Lin Moyu looked at the glowing coffins, countless in number, millions of them, accumulated over countless years in the great world. Although each strand of origin power was tiny, they accumulated to form a significant force. Finally, among the millions of coffins, Lin Moyu saw a few unusual ones. Behind the coffins stood tombstones.
Tombs of the celestial venerables. There really are tombs of the celestial venerables.
Lin Moyu felt a bit excited. There really were tombs of the celestial venerables. This indicated that not all celestial venerables had left the great world. Some celestial venerables had stayed in the great world until their deaths. Just like the giant celestial venerable who died fighting for the great world. Millions of strands of origin power, carrying the wills of those who loved the great world, continuously entered the runes of the great world. The recovery speed of the runes accelerated again. Lin Moyu watched this scene with his own eyes, experiencing it personally. It was an extraordinary experience, a rare opportunity. When the runes of the great world were repaired to a certain extent, the 100 subrunes derived from the runes of the great world began to emit light simultaneously. They shone brightly, emitting a majestic aura, and paths of gods appeared.
During the Great War, the runes of the great world were damaged, and all the paths of gods were destroyed. Now that the runes of the great world are being repaired, are these paths of gods also going to repair themselves? No, if they could repair themselves, the mysterious master wouldn't have prepared to build new paths of gods.
Lin Moyu's mind was in turmoil, but he chose to trust the judgment of the mysterious master. The paths of gods could not repair themselves. Sure enough, the already destroyed paths of gods appeared for only a few seconds before collapsing again. A lot of origin power flowed out from the paths of gods, also entering the runes of the great world. Lin Moyu's eyes lit up.
So that's how it is, I understand now.
Although the paths of gods were destroyed, they still contained some residual origin power. The runes of the great world also absorbed this origin power. For the runes, any additional origin power was beneficial. At the limit, a single straw can break the camel's back. Conversely, A single drop of water can sometimes save a life. The runes of the great world absorbed all the power they could. At this moment, Lin Moyu's soul suddenly trembled, and a strange rune appeared in his rule world.
The curse of the runes of the great world.
Lin Moyu was surprised, and memories from the past surfaced. When he was advancing, he had encountered the curse of the runes of the great world, which prevented his advancement and the sublimation of his spells. At that time, he felt that the runes of the great world were hostile to him. Later, he resolved the curse brought by the runes of the great world and gradually forgot about it. Unexpectedly, the curse left by the runes of the great world had not disappeared but had hidden itself. It was hidden so deeply that he hadn't noticed it. Now it reappeared. Lin Moyu became vigilant, but after the curse rune appeared, it turned into a faint light and disappeared into the rule world. Lin Moyu felt the origin power. The origin power split into two, with one part staying in the rule world and the other returning to the runes of the great world. At this moment, Lin Moyu felt an even closer connection with the runes of the great world. It seemed that he had gained its recognition, a recognition that should only occur when one crossed the path of gods and became a supreme. This curse was the last drop of water that saved the great world. The repair of the runes of the great world finally exceeded 80%. They emitted a dazzling light, and a majestic aura swept across the entire great world. Everyone suddenly felt a sense of relief, as if the world had changed. Lin Moyu felt the same, but even more intensely. He let out a long breath. The runes of the great world had finally stopped collapsing. 2367 2367 Chapter 2367. An old friend comes to visit. The runes of the great world have surpassed the critical point of collapse. After 2 million years of decline, they have finally stabilized at this moment. Lin Moyu let out a long sigh of relief. Although the runes of the great world have not fully recovered and the origin is still somewhat damaged, as long as it doesn't collapse, there is a way to heal it. The next steps would be much simpler. As long as enough origin power can be found for the great world to absorb, it can fully recover. Any level of origin power would do, even a first-rank origin would be fine. There is no longer a need for world-class origin power to recover. When the great world was previously damaged, the celestial venerables must have gone to the realm sea, hunted a large number of stingrays, obtained fish pellets, and provided origin power for the great world. But fish pellets are only third rank, and they are the worst ordinary level origin power, far inferior to world-class origin power, like a drop in the bucket. Without world-class origin power, the great world would be difficult to recover. At that time, the celestial venerables also sought other worlds, hoping to absorb and devour the origin power of other worlds to help the great world recover. Unfortunately, no other worlds appeared at that time. Now it is different. The great world has already stopped its collapse, like a patient who has recovered from a serious illness, with its foundation already healed. Next, it just needs rest and nourishment to recover its vitality. For the great world, as long as it can absorb enough origin power, it can recover its vitality. As for the quality of the origin power, it only affects the speed of recovery. Lin Moyu patiently waited until the runes of the great world stopped absorbing and completely halted.
Unfortunately, no new subrunes have evolved.
All the origin power from the battle realm was used to repair itself, and the great world did not evolve the 101st subrune. The previously broken paths of gods were still shattered, and even more severely than before, with the remaining origin power completely drained. Lin Moyu found himself in a dilemma. Without new subrunes evolving in the great world, he couldn't use them to build new paths of gods. The only option left was to dismantle the old paths of gods and rebuild them in their place. However, dismantling the old paths of gods requires at least the strength of a supreme, and not just an ordinary supreme. Lin Moyu thought of the first starfighter that appeared in the battle realm. Becoming a starfighter also required origin power. At that time, the purple-robed celestial venerable controlled the origin of the battle realm and directly sent the origin power to the individual, making the battle realm recognize their existence. Lin Moyu believed that the first supreme in the great world was born in the same way. However, now the person behind the great world is gone, and no one can control the origin of the great world to directly make someone a supreme. He seemed to be at a dead end, with only one narrow and difficult path left. That is to build a path of gods that bypasses the sub-runes and directly reaches the runes of the great world. In theory, it is feasible, but the difficulty is too high, and no one has ever completed it. Even the celestial venerables of ancient times failed. They once thought that if someone could build such a path of gods, they might have a chance to become a Tao venerable. The only path lay before Lin Moyu, and whether to take it was up to him. The runes of the great world buzzed and vibrated, and the scene before Lin Moyu's eyes changed. He had left the origin land. However, he had already been recognized by the great world. Although he had not yet reached the supreme realm, his consciousness could come here at any time. Even supremes couldn't all do this. Feeling Lin Moyu's consciousness return, the human emperor, Star Elder, Red Star Supreme, and others all looked over. The Red Star Supreme could sense that the runes of the great world had recovered significantly, but he still wanted to confirm.
How is it?
Lin Moyu said,
The collapse has been stopped. As long as enough origin power is obtained, it can be fully restored.
The Red Star Supreme finally breathed a sigh of relief. As long as the great world doesn't collapse, he doesn't have to leave. The great world is his homeland, and he doesn't want to leave unless absolutely necessary. The human emperor also asked,
What about the paths of gods?
The human emperor and Star Elder were more concerned about the paths of gods. Only with the paths of gods rebuilt could the human Saint Supremes have a chance to become supremes. Lin Moyu shook his head lightly.
The great world has not evolved new subrunes. The only option now is to build a path of gods that directly connects to the runes of the great world.
Munan exclaimed.
That's impossible. Even the celestial venerables tried and failed.
The Red Star Supreme also looked solemn. This matter was indeed difficult. Lin Moyu said,
I know it's difficult, but I have to try. Let me think about it.
Lin Moyu needed time to think. No one had ever succeeded before, not even the celestial venerables. But others' failures didn't mean he would fail. He had created one miracle after another, turning countless impossibilities into possibilities. He believed he would succeed this time too.
I can't try blindly. There's only one set of materials and only one chance.
Lin Moyu needed time to think. He sat in the void, closing his eyes and remaining silent. His mind raced, simulating various possibilities in the rule world. There was only one chance. He couldn't fail, he could only succeed. The great world finally returned to peace, and the once closed human race reopened. Those who had left without permission lost the chance to return. The human race had strict rules. Some mistakes could be forgiven a few times, but some mistakes couldn't be made even once. The great world drifted in the realm sea, and no one knew when it would encounter another world like the battle realm. World struggles could break out at any time, and the human race needed strict discipline. Time passed, and in the blink of an eye 100 years had gone by. Lin Moyu sat motionless in the void, simulating countless times but always feeling something was missing. He couldn't say what was missing. He felt that the celestial venerables of ancient times must have tried many times and accumulated a lot of experience. Perhaps the celestial venerables had already discovered the reason for their failures. Given enough time, they might have succeeded. The celestial venerables continuously pursued the possibility of becoming Tao venerables, trying every method, but ultimately all failed. From this, it could be inferred that the being who created the great world might have died long ago. Otherwise, they would have pointed the celestial venerables in the right direction. They wouldn't have let the celestial venerables explore blindly like headless flies. Now, Lin Moyu had joined the ranks of the celestial venerables, exploring various possibilities.
What exactly is missing?
Lin Moyu muttered to himself, trusting his intuition, which told him he was still missing something. Another 100 years passed, and Lin Moyu still hadn't found what was missing. At this time, the human emperor appeared beside Lin Moyu.
Someone is here to see you.
Lin Moyu woke up.
Who?
Over the years, Yuchingru, Yuju, Lin Mohan, and others had visited. But they knew he was busy and wouldn't disturb him easily. The human emperor said,
Lilian.
Lin Moyu was stunned. Lilian had come to see him. This woman had disappeared for a long time, seemingly in closed-door cultivation, not even participating in the 100 Clans War. Lin Moyu didn't know where she had gone. But he knew why Lilian had come to see him. He had obtained many heavenly spirit crystals in the demon ancestral land. Besides the heavenly spirit crystals, there was also a small statue. The statue was the inheritance of the Starry Sky Heavenly Spirit Clan. He hadn't had time to find Lilian, but she had come to him. 2368, 2368. Chapter 2368. The Fate of the Starry Sky Heavenly Spirit Clan. Outside the human star domain, Lilian stood there with a slight unease. Her aura was heavy, having already stepped into the Transcendence Realm. However, she was well aware that while the Transcendence Realm was powerful, it was nothing in front of the human race. She could sense the terrifying aura within the human star domain, especially the stars arranged in a special formation, clearly forming an array. If these stars were to erupt, it would be easy to crush her. The space slightly distorted, and then a space gate opened. Lin Moyu flew out from the space gate, smiling.
Congratulations, Demon King, on reaching the Transcendence Realm.
Lilian sighed in relief upon seeing Lin Moyu.
You finally came.
After entering the Transcendence Realm, Lilian had begun to exhibit some racial characteristics. She now had a clear distinction from the human race, with a pair of noticeable horns on her forehead, just like the Starry Sky Heavenly Spirit Clan Lin Moyu had seen before. Her skin also bore many patterns that would glow like runes during battle, another distinction from the human race. Lin Moyu asked,
I had no idea where you went all these years. I didn't expect you to reach the Transcendence Realm in just 1,000 years. That's quite fast.
Lilian retorted.
Are you praising yourself?
She could see that Lin Moyu's realm far surpassed hers, though she didn't know to what extent. Lin Moyu laughed.
So you came to find me for the Heavenly Spirit Clan's inheritance, right?
Lilian nodded.
My last piece of inheritance pointed to the Demon Clan's ancestral land. But the Demon Clan has already been exterminated by you, and I couldn't find the inheritance there.
Lin Moyu took out the inheritance statue and a large number of high-grade heavenly spirit crystals.
I found these things in the Demon Clan's ancestral land. I was puzzled at the time as to why there were heavenly spirit crystals and an inheritance statue in the Demon Clan's ancestral land. I never figured it out. I hope the Demon King can enlighten me after learning the truth.
Lilian reached out and took the statue, her bright eyes showing joy.
All right.
Lin Moyu also had doubts in his heart. Why did Lilian's parents place her in the Demon Clan? Fortunately, Lilian had some characteristics of the Demon Clan and was taken in by them when they wanted to invade the small world, using her as cannon fodder. Lilian was clever enough to survive until now. Lilian's soul directly connected with the inheritance statue, beginning to receive the inheritance. Lin Moyu smiled.
You really trust me.
Accepting the inheritance openly in front of him showed that Lilian had absolute trust in him. Lin Moyu patiently waited. The matter of the divine path couldn't be resolved in a short time. He had already thought about it for 200 years without an answer, so he wasn't in a hurry. Half a day later, Lilian finished receiving the inheritance, and Lin Moyu noticed her expression had become somewhat strange. Lin Moyu asked,
What's wrong? Is there something wrong with the inheritance?
Lilian shook her head.
The inheritance is fine. It's just that I learned something unexpected. Our Starry Sky Heavenly Spirit Clan was actually created by the human race's celestial venerable.
She suddenly looked at Lin Moyu, her beautiful eyes sharp.
Did you know this all along?
Lin Moyu didn't deny it.
I did know a bit earlier than you, but it's not important.
Lilian said.
Indeed, it's not important. I now know the answer to your question. Why were there heavenly spirit crystals in the Demon Clan's ancestral land? It's because back then,
Lilian had learned a lot from the inheritance and knew the answer. Back then, the Soul Celestial Venerable created the Starry Sky Heavenly Spirit clan. In the eyes of others, this race was a failure, but it wasn't entirely a failure. The Starry Sky Heavenly Spirit clan possessed powerful soul curse abilities and played a significant role in the ancient wars. Later, when a Celestial Venerable appeared in the Demon clan, the Starry Sky Heavenly Spirit clan was tasked with stopping this Celestial Venerable. The Heavenly Spirit clan gathered all their power and cursed the Celestial Venerable of the Demon clan to death. However, the Heavenly Spirit clan also perished as a result. Some remnants of the Heavenly Spirit clan survived, barely hanging on through the ages, until Lilian. Without the Celestial Venerable, the Heavenly Spirit clan was like orphans, with nowhere to go. Lilian said with a hint of sarcasm,
what for great origin races? It's all nonsense. Only the human race is the true origin race of this world. The others were all created by the human race's celestial venerables.
Lin Moyu comforted.
No matter what, you are still a part of the great world. I can feel that the origin of the great world acknowledges you and your Heavenly Spirit clan.
Lilian laughed, her self-mockery deepening.
Do you know why we are acknowledged? Do you know the true purpose of the Soul Celestial Venerable in creating our Heavenly Spirit clan?
Seeing Lin Moyu's confusion, Lilian revealed the truth.
The real purpose of our creation was not for battle. We appeared long before the Black Blood Great Realm. In the eyes of others, we were a failed creation, but the Soul Celestial Venerable never told anyone our true purpose was to build the divine path.
Lin Moyu was shocked.
Build the divine path?
Lilian said,
yes, he created us to build the divine path, a path that leads directly to the origin of the great world. He used the origin of his own rule world, combined with other origins, to create the Heavenly Spirit crystals. Then he used the Heavenly Spirit crystals to evolve us. When we die, we turn back into Heavenly Spirit crystals. The stronger we are, the stronger the Heavenly Spirit crystals we become after death. These Heavenly Spirit crystals can only be absorbed by us. Through generations of inheritance, we might eventually produce a Celestial Venerable. At that time, he could use our people as materials to build the divine path, leading directly to the origin of the great world. So, what is the meaning of our existence? Is it just to build that divine path?
Lin Moyu was stunned. He never imagined that the purpose of the Heavenly Spirit clan's existence was like this. He quickly simulated it in his mind and felt that this method had a high probability of success. If not for the invasion of the Black Blood Great Realm, the Soul Celestial Venerable might have succeeded. Seeing the dim light in Lilian's eyes, Lin Moyu said,
the Soul Celestial Venerable is no longer here, and no one will force you to do anything.
Lilian shook her head.
No, the Soul Celestial Venerable's will is already engraved in our soul bloodline. No matter how high our realm, we will eventually become like this. Even if I stop cultivating now, in a few years I will become like this.
She gripped the Heavenly Spirit crystal tightly, as if trying to crush it, her smile tinged with sadness. Since receiving the inheritance, the light in her eyes seemed to have dimmed. The purpose of the Heavenly Spirit clan's existence was to become materials for the divine path. This was something set by the Soul Celestial Venerable unchangeable. It was cruel and helpless. Lin Moyu asked,
is there no other way?
Lilian suddenly smiled.
There is. Find the Soul Celestial Venerable and have him change our fate.
The Soul Celestial Venerable was no longer around, and no one knew where he had gone. Finding him seemed impossible. Lin Moyu asked,
what do you plan to do?
Lilian bit her silver teeth, as if making a major decision.
We possess a trace of the world's origin and know the current state of the world. I also know that there is no divine path in this world now. You must want to build a new divine path. If needed, I can become the material at any time. But you have to promise me one thing.
Lin Moyu asked.
What is it?
Lilian said.
If you become a Celestial Venerable in the future, Take my heavenly spirit crystal and find the soul celestial venerable to change our fate.
2369, 2369. Chapter 2369. The Heavenly Spirit Clan's inheritance will not be broken. Lin Moyu wanted to ask,
Is this meaningful?
once Lillian transforms into a Heavenly Spirit crystal and becomes material for the divine path, her existence will disappear. Even if he holds the Heavenly Spirit crystal and finds the soul celestial venerable, the reappearing Heavenly Spirit Clan will no longer be her. However, her gaze was incredibly firm, and Lin Moyu knew she must have learned something from the inheritance. Lillian said,
This is the will passed down through countless generations of our race. We all want to escape this fate, but we cannot fight against destiny.
Lin Moyu looked at her.
Why choose me?
Lillian replied,
Trust.
Feeling her determination, Lin Moyu took a deep breath.
I promise you. As long as I can find the soul celestial venerable, I will definitely help you fulfill your wish.
Lin Moyu made his promise. As long as he could find the soul celestial venerable, he would surely make him change the fate of the Heavenly Spirit Clan. No matter what method he had to use, once he made a promise, he would definitely do it. Lillian smiled.
I know you can do it.
Lillian took out a Heavenly Spirit crystal and several inheritance statues. A drop of blood flew out from her forehead and entered the Heavenly Spirit crystal. The Heavenly Spirit crystal immediately changed, showing signs of life as if something was being nurtured inside. Lillian handed this Heavenly Spirit crystal to Lin Moyu.
I hope my wish can be fulfilled, and the inheritance of the Heavenly Spirit Clan will not be broken because of me.
Even if she transforms into a Heavenly Spirit crystal, the inheritance of the Heavenly Spirit Clan cannot end here. Following the guidance of her soul bloodline, she left the bloodline of the Heavenly Spirit Clan behind. Lin Moyu put away the special Heavenly Spirit crystal and the inheritance statues.
Don't worry, the inheritance of the Heavenly Spirit Clan will not be broken.
Lillian smiled sweetly, her tone softening.
I will wait for you here. Call me when you are ready. Thank you.
Lin Moyu expressed his gratitude and took away several Heavenly Spirit crystals for research. Since the Soul Celestial Venerable created this race and wanted to use them to build a divine path directly to the origin, he must have found some mystery, but he never had the chance. Lin Moyu returned to the center of the star domain and began researching the Heavenly Spirit crystals. Over the past 200 years, he had thoroughly studied all the materials left by the mysterious master and understood the characteristics of each material. However, he had always overlooked the existence of the Heavenly Spirit crystals.
Heavenly Spirit crystals, created by the Soul Celestial Venerable using a trace of the origin of his own rule world, combined with other origins. The origin of the Celestial Venerable comes from the Great World, far stronger than the Supreme Realm. In other words, the Heavenly Spirit crystals actually contain a trace of the Great World's origin, but it is mixed with other origins, so it didn't play a role in repairing the Great World before. The methods of the Celestial Venerable are indeed superb, even I overlooked it before.
Lin Moyu considered himself extremely sensitive to souls, with spiritual perception far superior to ordinary people. Even ancient celestial venerables might not surpass him in this aspect. However, he had not been able to sense the origin power within the Heavenly Spirit crystals. The Soul Celestial Venerable had used a special method to package and conceal the Heavenly Spirit crystals. Lin Moyu used his soul power to penetrate them, peeling away the layers and removing the Soul Celestial Venerable's concealment. A surge of origin power burst forth, a mixture of various origins. They all came from the strange fish of the realm sea, including the origin crystals of lanternfish, the fish pellets of stingrays, and several other origins Lin Moyu did not recognize. However, their levels were not high, none exceeding the 3rd rank.
With origin power, they can indeed be used as materials for the divine path.
Lin Moyu began simulating again, incorporating the Heavenly Spirit crystals. After several simulations, he found that the previous gaps seemed to be filled.
It really works.
Lin Moyu was astonished. The heavenly spirit crystals could indeed be used to construct the divine path, directly reaching the origin of the great world. He murmured to himself,
The soul celestial venerable was really close to success back then. What a pity!
if he had succeeded, he might have surpassed the mysterious master and achieved the Tao venerable realm. But that is now unknowable, and there is no point in pursuing the past. Lin Moyu repeatedly simulated, correcting every detail. Another 100 years passed, and Lin Moyu felt the time had come to build the new divine path. The divine path he wanted to build was right here, from the center of the great world, directly to the runes of the great world. Returning to his manor, he spent a few days with his family, letting his mind completely calm down. Finally, Lin Moyu brought Lilian to the center of the world. The human emperor, Star Elder, Lin Mohan, Yuju, Yuchingru, Xiaowu, and others were all present. The human saint supremes also came to witness history. Additionally, the Red Star Supreme, Mu Nanner, and the 100 Battles Supreme were present. Mu Nanner and the 100 Battles Supreme had not left after the Great Battle and stayed here. They were once members of the human race, and now it felt like coming home. Lin Moyu looked at Lily N.
Are you really ready?
Lily N smiled slightly.
Don't forget what you promised me. I won't.
Lin Moyu solemnly promised he would not forget. Lily N trusted Lin Moyu and whispered,
I'm going.
As she spoke, her body exploded. Countless heavenly spirit crystals flew out, all of high grade, but most importantly, they contained a will. It was Lilian's will. She sacrificed herself to become heavenly spirit crystals to help Lin Moyu build the divine path. She hoped that in the future, when Lin Moyu met the soul celestial venerable, he could change the fate of her race. Lin Moyu reached out and grasped one of the heavenly spirit crystals. This heavenly spirit crystal was the most special, with Lilian's strongest consciousness. Lin Moyu wrapped it in the power of life and put it away. He had a small hope that perhaps the soul celestial venerable could revive Lily N in the future. Lin Moyu silently chanted,
It's time to start.
Boom! A terrifying pressure swept across the starry sky as Lin Moyu unleashed all his soul power. The supreme pressure spread, and everyone retreated. Lin Mohan lightly waved her finger, forming a sword net that blocked all the pressure. Yuju, Yuchingru, and Xiaowu stood behind her, unaffected. At this moment, Xiaowu snorted softly, and the Law of Fortune Star River appeared. She shouted,
You're going to have great luck.
Streams of clear energy fell from the Law of Fortune Star River, landing on Lin Moyu. The enhancement of fortune alone turned luck into a dragon, pushing Lin Moyu's luck to the limit. Lin Moyu also shouted, activating the explosive luck technique. The dragon's roar became even louder, and Lin Moyu felt that not only had his luck broken through the limit, but the luck of the human race had also improved. Xiaowu used all her strength, her face turning pale, looking exhausted. She leaned gently on Yuchingru, motionless. Her eyes told Lin Moyu,
Master, go for it.
Lin Moyu waved his hand, and a complete set of divine path materials flew out. The materials were both tangible and intangible, some a mix of both. All the materials were top-notch, provided by the mysterious master, and couldn't be inferior. Lin Moyu had simulated the method of constructing the divine path countless times in his soul world, almost forming an instinct. His soul power moved, sweeping up the materials and quickly beginning to construct the divine path. At the same time, he multitasked, invoking the runes of the great world to bring down origin power to help build the divine path. Because of his unique status, the runes of the great world gave him some face, providing a small amount of origin power. Lin Moyu didn't expect much. The real origin power needed didn't come from the great world. Soon, a divine path gradually formed, but it kept twisting and deforming, very unstable. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and the world-burning flame ignited.
Refine.
2370. Chapter 2370. I won't let you down. The world-burning flame spread across the entire divine path. Under the influence of the world-burning flame, the originally twisted divine path fused together, becoming a solid and powerful whole. A brand new divine path gradually took shape before everyone's eyes, but this alone was not enough. When the divine path attempted to connect to the runes of the great world, terrifying origin power poured down like a waterfall. Under the impact of the origin power, the divine path became unstable once again. The most difficult part of constructing a divine path that directly connects to the runes of the great world is how to withstand the backlash of the great world's origin power. Relying solely on materials is not enough. Even though the mysterious master provided top-quality materials, they were still insufficient. Lin Moyu had simulated this countless times before, and each time he was stopped at this point. No matter how he combined, refined, or reinforced the materials, he couldn't withstand the backlash of the great world's origin power. This time, Lin Moyu was prepared. With a wave of his hand, a batch of heavenly spirit crystals flew into the divine path. The heavenly spirit crystals contained origin power. Using the heavenly spirit crystals was essentially using origin power to counter origin power. However, the origin power within the heavenly spirit crystals was too mixed and of a lower grade, incomparable to the great world's origin. But now, the heavenly spirit crystals were infused with Lilian's will. Lilian became the commander, controlling and directing the origin power within the heavenly spirit crystals. She unified the origin power within the heavenly spirit crystals to counter the great world's origin. The divine path, which was on the verge of collapse, stabilized once again. There were many heavenly spirit crystals, and the combined power was not weak. It barely managed to hold its ground. Lin Moyu observed.
It's not enough, still lacking.
With a flick of his finger, hundreds of drops of ancestral water flew out, falling like raindrops onto the divine path. The ancestral water acted like a nourishing rain, causing the divine path to emit a brilliant glow. The heavenly spirit crystals, nourished by the ancestral water, saw a rapid increase in their origin power. The divine path became increasingly solid, firmly resisting the backlash of the great world's origin. This was a contest of origins. Whoever could hold out the longest would win. Lin Moyu continuously poured his soul power into the divine path, trying to stabilize it as much as possible. However, his efforts were like a drop in the ocean. Whether the divine path could be completed depended on its inherent strength. Both sides were in a stalemate. The divine path continued to roar, and the heavenly spirit crystals shone brightly, releasing all their origin power. The great world's origin power continued to pour down, relentlessly attacking the divine path, determined to break it.
This won't work. The divine path won't hold for long. The effect of the ancestral water will eventually wear off, and the construction will fail.
Lin Moyu saw this clearly. He thought of various solutions and then made a decisive move.
This is the only way.
He waved his hand again, sprinkling more ancestral water to stabilize the divine path. However, the effect of the ancestral water was diminishing. As more ancestral water was used, its effectiveness rapidly decreased. Lin Moyu spared no expense, sprinkling more ancestral water, this time on himself. His aura exploded. Origin technique. Concentrate power. Infinite power gathered from the undead legion. Without the recognition of the great world, Lin Moyu's realm broke through the limits of the transcendence and supreme realms. His aura roared, each surge more intense than the last, continuously breaking through to higher realms. He broke through to the supreme realm, becoming a low-level supreme. His rule world appeared, revealing itself to everyone for the first time. He held nothing back, activating his rule world, unleashing all his power for one final effort. Lin Moyu's rule world resembled a starry sky, with countless stars shining within it. Various stars filled the space, and amidst the mist, a massive tree could be vaguely seen. At the same time, dragon roars echoed within the rule world. Boom! A terrifying aura swept across the starry sky, pushing everyone back, including Lin Mohan. Lin Moyu officially stepped into the mid-level supreme realm. His power multiplied many times over.
This is the power of a supreme? No, it's not complete yet. When I truly become a supreme, I will be even stronger.
Lin Moyu murmured, using the concentrate power technique to reach the supreme realm, but he was not a true supreme. Fortunately, his rule world also contained origin power, allowing him to possess some supreme level power.
Whether it works or not, I have to try. You chose to trust me. I won't let you down.
Lin Moyu roared and charged into the divine path. He intended to traverse the divine path and become a supreme. Even though the divine path was not fully constructed, he would cross it. This was a desperate move. Lin Moyu came up with this idea at the last moment. The celestial venerables had attempted to build a divine path directly to the runes of the great world, but had all failed. Because the celestial venerables had already traversed the divine path, their origin power came from the great world, making it impossible for them to counter the great world's origin. They could only watch helplessly as the divine path collapsed. The sole celestial venerable thought of using external origin power to counter the great world's origin. His idea was correct, but the quantity and quality of the origin power were insufficient. But Lin Moyu was different. He had not yet become a supreme and did not possess the great world's origin. On the contrary, he had origin techniques, ancestral water, and other origins. Given this, he decided to give it a try. Whether he succeeded or not, he had to try. As Lin Moyu stepped onto the divine path, it roared, and the great world's origin, which had been pouring down, seemed to find a second target. The origin power split into two, with one part rushing towards Lin Moyu.
It works.
Lin Moyu was overjoyed. His sudden idea worked. The origin power surged, and the scene before him changed. The divine path disappeared, replaced by a battlefield. Everyone who traverses the divine path must undergo the great world's test. Only by passing the test can they be recognized by the great world and become a supreme. The great world would give different rewards based on performance. The reward was origin power. The stronger the origin power obtained, the stronger the rule world would become, and the stronger one would be at the same realm. On the battlefield, countless soldiers charged forward, wearing armor and looking like human warriors. Lin Moyu knew they were all evolved from the great world's origin power. Each soldier had the strength of a half-step supreme, and when they formed battle formations, their strength was comparable to a supreme. There were many soldiers, forming over 100 battle formations, meaning he had to face the attacks of 100 supremes simultaneously.
It must be related to my divine path.
Lin Moyu understood that his divine path directly connected to the great world's origin, so his test would be different from others. But it didn't matter. 100 supremes were nothing to him. The skeleton generals flew out to deal with them. The skeleton generals were enough. Suddenly, Lin Moyu frowned. The skeleton generals' auras were extremely weak, suppressed and unable to exert their full strength. The skeleton generals now only had the strength of half-step supremes.
There's suppression? But it can't suppress me.
50 undead legions moved out together. The undead legions were also suppressed, originally comparable to mid-level supremes, now only equal to low-level supremes. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and the ancestral water flew out again, transforming into nourishing rain. The undead legion's auras surged, returning to mid-level supremes. The two sides collided, and the battle formations evolved by the great world shattered upon contact. The undead legions formed a sea of bones, charging forward and breaking through all obstacles. Lin Moyu moved swiftly, climbing upwards. 2371, 2371. Chapter 2371. So I am the final link. The divine path, the great road that countless cultivators dream of. From the other shore to the supreme, it is a transformation. It is a summary of the cultivation journey, from an ordinary person to the other shore, and finally to the half-step supreme. Cultivators must use all their strength to tell the great world that they have reached their goal, thereby gaining the recognition of the great world. By stepping on the divine path, one gains the origin and achieves the supreme. The journey of cultivation, and the test of the divine path, have always been difficult. Countless people are eliminated halfway, and those who can truly step onto the divine path are as rare as phoenix feathers. Lin Moyu, as the only person in this era qualified to rush onto the divine path, and also the one who personally built the divine path, is unprecedented. The Undead Legion paved the way for Lin Moyu, cutting through thorns and thistles, and no test could hinder him. Under the impact of the origin of the great world evolved into various environments and countless natural disasters, all of which were solved by the Undead Legion. Finally, Lin Moyu, in the most perfect posture, truly stepped onto the divine path. At the moment of stepping onto the divine path, he discovered that the divine path he personally built was only one step away from the ruins of the great world. And this last step needed to be completed by himself. Lin Moyu stood on the divine path, just one step away, like the divine path itself. After this step, the divine path would be completed, and he would become the supreme. But this step required some sacrifice. The last step needed to be completed by himself. Only at this moment did he finally understand why those celestial venerables failed. Apart from the backlash of the origin, even if the sole celestial venerable thought of using external origin to counter it, he would still fail in the end. The reason is that the last step requires oneself as the link to complete it. The celestial venerables did not have this opportunity. Only those who had not become the supreme could do it, and they had to pay the price.
Once this step is taken, there is no turning back. From now on, I will be completely bound to the great world, and it will be impossible to leave the great world like the celestial venerables.
A brilliant light exploded in Lin Moyu's eyes, as dazzling as a supernova. His gaze was incredibly firm. When he decided to build the new divine path, he had already made up his mind. Originally, he never thought of leaving the great world. Even if he went to the realm sea in the future, he would not leave the great world like those celestial venerables. Since that was the case, what was there to hesitate about? Lin Moyu took the last step, and the ruins of the great world suddenly appeared in front of him. Streams of origin power poured down on him like a torrential rain. The origin power entered his body, circulated throughout, entered the rule world, and permeated his soul. The origin of the great world, omnipresent, surged into every corner of Lin Moyu's body. Then, a part of the origin power left Lin Moyu's body and entered the divine path. This time it was not a backlash. The divine path began to stabilize. The origin power passed through Lin Moyu's body, imprinted with his mark, and injected into the divine path. Every part of the divine path was filled with Lin Moyu's mark, and the two merged, indistinguishable from each other. Lin Moyu became the final link between the origin of the great world and the divine path. Looking at the ruins of the great world, Lin Moyu suddenly had an epiphany. This divine path is extremely special, and so is he. From now on, anyone who wants to achieve the supreme by stepping on the divine path not only needs the recognition of the great world but also needs his recognition. The origin power of the great world will not be directly given to those who step on the divine path but must pass through him. If he does not recognize them, they cannot become the supreme through this divine path. He can also control the difficulty of the divine path, making it extremely difficult or relatively easy. Lin Moyu knew that he had gained unimaginable authority. If he had ambitions, he could completely control who becomes the supreme and who does not, thereby controlling the entire world and changing its rules. But this was meaningless to him. He had no pursuit of power. What he sought was different. Looking at the ruins of the great world, feeling the origin power transmitted from them, his connection with the runes became increasingly close. His realm was rising, transforming in an indescribable way. Lin Moyu knew he was about to become the supreme, the only one in this era to achieve the supreme within the great world. One epiphany after another arose, and Lin Moyu began to master the various abilities of the supreme, understanding the application of origin power. Origin power is very magical. It seems to be the beginning of everything. It appears lifeless but can nurture life and evolve worlds. Almost anything imaginable can be achieved with origin power. A large amount of origin power was injected into Lin Moyu's rule world. perhaps because the divine path was special, or maybe because Lin Moyu performed exceptionally well on the divine path. The great world gave him an extraordinary amount of origin power. This origin power could enhance spells, allowing them to evolve and greatly increase combat power. Lin Moyu didn't care about this. His soul gently touched the sleeping coffin.
I have become the Supreme. It won't be long before I reach the Celestial Venerable. By then, I can defy the heavens and change fate, and you will be able to come out.
Defying the heavens and changing fate for his 4 wives was something Lin Moyu had to do. He had waited for a long time, finally achieving the Supreme, and was getting closer to the Celestial Venerable. Until the runes of the Great World disappeared again, Lin Moyu had firmly stepped into the Supreme Realm, and the divine path was completely stabilized. After more than 2 million years, a new divine path finally appeared in the Great World. Mu Nanner, in disbelief, said,
He really did it.
The Red Star Supreme also said in a low voice,
Even the Celestial Venerables couldn't do it, but he did. It's truly a miracle.
Mu Nanner shook her head.
I never believed in miracles.
The Red Star Supreme said,
If it's not a miracle, then what is it?
Mu Nanner pondered for a long time.
Perhaps it's destiny. I think he might be the favored son of the great world, sent to save it.
The Red Star Supreme said,
Then he shouldn't be the favored son. He should be the favored axe.
Mu Nanner snorted.
Whether he's the favored son or the favored axe, now that we have the divine path, this world has hope again. Maybe one day, I can be resurrected and rebuild the Soul Sword sect.
Mu Nanner thought of the mysterious master who had said some things when handing over the Soul City to her. If the great world was saved, she might have a chance to be reborn. At that time, Mu Nanner thought it was just an empty promise, but now it seemed possible. The Red Star Supreme said,
Resurrect after death? That's impossible.
Mu Nanner glared at the Red Star Supreme.
You really don't know how to talk. Do you believe I'll beat you up?
The Red Star Supreme immediately shut up. This woman was not to be trifled with. The human emperor, Star Elder, and all the Saint Supremes were overjoyed. They knew that the path was open, and they finally had a way forward. However, all of this was thanks to Lin Moyu. The human emperor softly said,
Finally, there's a way.
The Star Elder also smiled like a blooming chrysanthemum.
There's a way, finally a way.
He then said to the Saint Supremes,
You must hurry in your cultivation, reach the half-step Supreme as soon as possible, and then step onto the divine path to achieve the Supreme.
The Saint Supremes quickly responded affirmatively. Boom! A powerful aura surged, and the supreme pressure swept out. Lin Mohan stood with her eyes closed, her aura rising rapidly. Bloodline resonance. Lin Moyu's achievement of the Supreme pushed her realm to further heights. 2372. Chapter 2372. Some things must be done. Lin Moyu left the divine path and returned to the starry sky. The divine path disappeared, visible only to those above the Saint Sovereign level. After becoming a Supreme, his perception of the world underwent a qualitative change. It seemed that no secrets could be hidden from him. Whatever he wanted to see, he could see. He could directly observe the interior of secret realms within the Divine City Star domain and see who was inside. What were once extremely dangerous secret realms now seemed no different from his own backyard. He could see the life force and souls of everyone, even how long they had left to live. He knew very well that all of this was due to the power of the origin. The power of the great world's origin granted him these extraordinary abilities within the great world. If he wished, he could even see the boundaries of the great world. He saw the Ghost Clan fighting the monstrous fish of the Realm Sea in the boundary area. Once the great world was fully repaired, the gaps in the boundary area would gradually disappear, and no more monstrous fish from the Realm Sea would break through. By then, the Ghost Clan would have nothing to do, and he wondered what they would do next. Lin Moyu felt many gazes on him and slowly spoke.
I have not let you down. It is finally done.
The human emperor, Star Elder, and others exchanged glances and then simultaneously bowed to Lin Moyu.
Greetings, Supreme Lin.
With a change in realm came a change in status. Lin Moyu's mouth twitched.
There's no need for this, seniors.
The Star Elder shook his head.
Without rules, nothing can be accomplished. Our human race has always valued etiquette, and courtesy must not be neglected.
Several Saint Sovereigns agreed. In a world where strength determined status, one's realm was the golden standard. Perhaps they could be more casual in private, but in public, this was how it should be. Lin Moyu couldn't argue with them and had to accept it, saying slowly,
Now that the divine path is established, as long as you reach the half-step supreme level, you can try it. Failure is not a problem. Accumulate experience and try multiple times.
Lin Moyu could control the difficulty of the divine path, but the lower the difficulty, the less origin power one would receive upon becoming a supreme, which would be detrimental to the future. The current difficulty was moderate and just right. Moreover, with Lin Moyu overseeing it, there would be no danger on the divine path, at most just failure. He then said to the human emperor and Star Elder,
For now, you two can only maintain your current state, but in the future, I believe there will be a way.
The human emperor smiled.
I don't mind. After so many years, I'm used to it.
The Star Elder also smiled.
It's fine as it is now. No need to worry about us.
Lin Moyu smiled and said no more. Some things didn't need to be said too much. They just needed to be done. He believed that one day, he would let the human emperor and Star Elder also step onto the divine path and become supremes. Lin Mohan's realm was gradually rising, becoming stronger and stronger. She was on the verge of breaking through to the high-level supreme realm. Lin Moyu smiled and muttered to himself,
Big Sister is indeed Big Sister, bloodline suppression.
Since they started cultivating, Lin Mohan's realm had always been higher than his, and Lin Moyu had long been used to it. He then said to the others,
Currently, the Great World's origin has recovered about 70%, but its power is still not very strong. I will next go to the Realm Sea to hunt various fish species and obtain origin power, hoping to restore the Great World as soon as possible.
The Great World had only stopped collapsing for now, but it was still far from fully restored. Lin Moyu knew very well that with the current state of the Great World, it could only allow 10 people to become supremes at most. He had already taken one spot, leaving 9. Fortunately, there weren't many Saint Sovereigns in the human race now, so there wouldn't be that many Saint Sovereigns all at once. He still had time to go to the Realm Sea and hunt for origin power. The starry sky returned to peace, and everyone left, leaving only Lin Moyu, his sister Lin Mohan, Yuju, and Yuchingru. Lin Mohan was still in the process of advancing and needed more time to finish. Yuju softly asked,
Husband, are you leaving again?
Lin Moyu gently stroked Yuju's hair, feeling the silky texture that transmitted comfort to his soul. This feeling was very pleasant, and Lin Moyu liked it, as did Yuju, who nestled in his arms like a kitten. Lin Moyu softly said,
Some things must be done.
Yuju's voice was soft.
I was just asking.
Yuchingru also softly said,
Husband, do what you need to do.
Lin Moyu smiled slightly and embraced Yuchingru as well. He spent some time with them, talking and enjoying their company. Suddenly, a sword aura burst from Lin Mohan's body, transforming into a sword storm in the starry sky. Yuju and Yuchingru both gasped, but fortunately, Lin Moyu reacted quickly and shielded them from the sword aura. Otherwise, they would have been injured by the impact. Lin Moyu said,
It's not safe here. You should go back first.
He opened a space gate and sent them away. The two knew the importance of the situation and, with some reluctance, entered the space gate. After they left, Lin Moyu retreated to a safe distance, out of the range of the sword aura, and began to examine himself. The supreme realm was the transformation. With the power of the origin, his rule world became stronger, and all his spells were enhanced. With the power of the origin, his rule world had the foundation to evolve all things, making it more real and powerful than the rule world of a saint sovereign. By integrating the power of the origin into spells, their power could be greatly increased. In other words, a supreme could easily crush a saint sovereign. In ancient times, only some exceptionally talented half-step supremes could surpass weak supremes. Lin Moyu examined his spells. Concentrate power and strengthen soldiers. These two origin-level spells did not enhance. They inherently possessed their own origin power, and external origin power had no effect on them. Lin Moyu's realm also had no impact on them. Next were Resurrection of the Dead and Summon Skeleton King. These two origin-level spells, which integrated origin power later, were also unaffected. Although the Great World's origin was of the 6th rank and more advanced than the origin they integrated, Lin Moyu still had too little origin power. Quality aside, the quantity was insufficient. Fortunately, as his realm increased, these two origin-level spells also enhanced. Lin Moyu's soul moved, and he obtained detailed information about the two spells. Resurrection of the Dead, origin level, revive a target using a corpse or soul as a medium, transforming the target into a resurrected being. The existence time of the resurrected being depends on the master's realm, 2,000 days. The resurrected being can enter a dormant state, during which the existence time does not decrease. The strength of the resurrected being will surpass its previous life, with the specific level of enhancement depending on the potential of the resurrected being. The resurrected being will self-destruct upon death, with the explosion's power surpassing its own limits. The resurrected being retains memories from its previous life, and the master has absolute control over it. Reviving a target more than 2 major realms above the master may cause resistance, leading to loss of control. The number of resurrected beings depends on the master's realm, with a current maximum of 2 billion. The changes in Resurrection of the Dead were significant. The duration increased from 1,000 days to 2,000 days, and with proper dormancy, they could exist almost indefinitely. The number also increased from 1 billion to 2 billion. Summoning 2 billion resurrected beings would be a massive army, and it would be challenging to summon them all. However, the changes in Summon Skeleton King were not as significant, which Lin Moyu understood. The strength of the Skeleton King depended on the strength of the skeletons. With the recent enhancement, the strength of the skeleton generals would significantly increase, and naturally the Skeleton King's strength would also increase. Although he hadn't seen it firsthand, Lin Moyu believed it should be very powerful. 2373 2373 Chapter 2373 System. What exactly are you? One by one, skeletons appeared, moving quickly and rapidly, occupying a large area of the starry sky. Under the linkage of spells, the undead legion began to automatically summon and replenish itself. After Lin Moyu's promotion, stimulated by the power of the origin, all his spells became significantly stronger. Although they were still at the white star level and had not advanced to the neutron star level like the bone hell, they were much stronger than before. Now, the secrets in Lin Moyu's eyes had greatly diminished, and he understood the differences between spell advancements. In the system of the Great World, spell levels can be divided into 4 levels: planetary, stellar, white star, and neutron star. There is no more powerful black hole level. His previous thoughts were incorrect. The neutron star is the highest level in the Great World. It is not, as he previously thought, that there is a black hole above the neutron star. Just like the bone hell, it is already the strongest in the spell system. Generally speaking, only peak supremes or celestial venerables can have spells reach such a level. If there is something even stronger, it would be the origin level. However, origin level spells require the fusion of external origin, which generally only celestial venerables can achieve. In ancient times, only celestial venerables could turn their spells into origin level ones. But the origin obtained by celestial venerables is generally only 3rd rank, and the effect after fusion is not very strong. It is very difficult to find origin above the 3rd rank, and even celestial venerables may not be able to find it. The skeletons continued to summon, which was estimated to last several days. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry and continued to examine his other changes. Several passive spells had enhanced effects, but Lin Moyu knew they were actually of little use. Once he left the Great World, these spells would lose their effectiveness. and in the great world, he no longer had any enemies. So these spells either need to be advanced to the origin level or should be temporarily ignored as if they don't exist. Summoning spells would also be suppressed in the Realm C, greatly reducing their effectiveness. However, as long as these spells can be advanced to the origin level, the problem will be solved. The Bone Hell had never been used in the Realm C, but Lin Moyu thought that since the Bone Hell had reached the neutron star level and contained the power of both reality and illusion, it should still be effective in the Realm C. Corpse Explosion is the most special. It seems to be unrestricted no matter where it is. Why this is so is one of the few things Lin Moyu does not know. The wings of the undead cannot drive space laws in the Realm C, but relying on soul power, it can still exhibit amazing speed. The time curse is the same. Once it leaves the great world, the spell will be suppressed. After calculating, Lin Moyu found that once he entered the Realm C, only 5 spells would still be usable. The Skeleton King and Corpse Explosion would be the main attacks, while the Bone Hell would be both offensive and defensive. Because Resurrection of the Dead had advanced to the origin level, it would become the main battle spell in the Realm C. In addition, there was one last spell, the Divine Power Lich. The Divine Power Lich had already proven its strength in the Realm C. With the Ancestral Water, the Divine Power Lich could summon the true body of the Great Tao and deliver a punch comparable to a Celestial Venerable. After examining all his spells, Lin Moyu finally focused on his World Tree. The origin power of the Great World surrounded the World Tree. Stimulated by the origin power, the World Tree rustled, and the entire tree trembled. Lin Moyu did not let it absorb the origin power. Such a small amount of power was not enough for it. These origins of the Great World were hard to come by, and Lin Moyu wanted to save them for the future. Although the World Tree did not absorb the origin, it was still stimulated by the origin power and rustled happily. The World Tree became taller, and its branches and leaves became more luxuriant. The spiritual flowers and fruits on the branches seemed to be maturing. After Lin Moyu's promotion to Supreme, with the infusion of origin power, the Rule World expanded significantly. The World Tree also grew, continuing to cover most of the Rule World. At this moment, the World Tree was already unimaginably large, the largest tree Lin Moyu had ever seen. Any leaf was much larger than Lin Moyu's soul, making him look very insignificant under the tree. The million-meter giant tree he had seen before, even the starry sky giant tree at full strength, was far inferior to his World Tree. Even so, the World Tree was still in its infancy. Lin Moyu, as its owner, was also somewhat perplexed. It had grown so large, yet it was still in its infancy. How big would the mature World Tree be? Besides growing larger, the World Tree's abilities had not changed much. The cooldown time for new growth had decreased from 20 seconds to 15 seconds, still only 3 times, with almost no other changes. Lin Moyu felt that the World Tree had reached a certain threshold and needed a sublimation to enter the next stage. But he had not yet figured out what this threshold was.
Do I need to advance to Celestial Venerable? Or are there other conditions?
Lin Moyu couldn't think of the conditions for now and could only take it one step at a time. The existence of the World Tree made him feel something unusual. He recalled the appearance of the World Tree, which came from 3 innate flames. Looking back at how he obtained the 3 innate flames, it seemed somewhat off. It felt like it was arranged by someone, and the one who arranged for him to get the innate flames was the system that had already left. The system's sudden appearance back then gave him divine-level talents, changing his life. Later, the system left, disappearing from the soul void without a trace. But then, the system suddenly appeared again, killing the Buddha of the Buddhist clan and saving him once. After that, the system never appeared again. Lin Moyu couldn't be sure if the system had really left. Perhaps that time was just a backup left by the system. Lin Moyu recalled the distant past and was now certain that the system must have self-awareness. In the beginning, the system seemed to be guiding his development and growth. It seemed natural, but the system's influence was behind it all.
The higher the realm, the more you understand, and the more unsolvable mysteries there are. System, what exactly are you? And what is the World Tree?
Lin Moyu couldn't explain and eventually gave up thinking about it. Perhaps one day in the future, he would uncover all the secrets. The skeleton summoning lasted for 10 days and finally stopped. The number of the undead legion doubled again. The number of skeleton generals increased from 2.5 billion to 12.5 billion, and the number of death knights increased from 500 million to 2.5 billion. The number of legion rulers did not increase much, only from 5 million to 10 million. However, the legion rulers had always been in an awkward position. A small portion of them had become undead commanders, but it was a negligible part. The remaining legion rulers commanded the Death Knights, forming legions. With 2.5 billion Death Knights, they could only form 25,000 legions. There were still 9.97 million legion rulers in a resting state. These legion rulers were usually used as medics, but there were too many of them. It would be better to have fewer legions but stronger combat power. Lin Moyu believed that the legion rulers would have their use. Their existence must be reasonable, and there would be a place for them. He was not in a hurry. The most crucial increase was in the number of skeleton generals, which also meant an increase in the number of skeleton kings. The number of skeleton kings increased from 50 to 250, greatly enhancing combat power. 2374. Chapter 2374. Peak Supreme, Buddha Kingdom Lich. Lin Mohan was still cultivating, and under the resonance of her bloodline, her advancement speed was very fast. She had already reached the limit of mid-level Supreme, and Lin Moyu felt that his elder sister should be able to break through to high-level Supreme. What took others thousands or even tens of thousands of years to achieve, she accomplished in just a few days. In terms of cultivation speed, Lin Moyu had never seen anyone surpass Lin Mohan. With a hint of envy in his eyes, he thought it would be great if his cultivation speed could be like his sister's. Thinking about his own journey, filled with risks and calculations, he felt a sense of bitterness. Unfortunately, in this world, you can't have everything. The higher the realm, the more you understand the fairness of cause and effect. Everything has a cause and effect. You can't demand too much or you will encounter misfortune. The great world is just like that. He was already doing well enough. In terms of combat power, he was not weaker than Lin Mohan at all. Putting away the undead army, Lin Moyu took out the previously obtained Golden Lotus. The Golden Lotus was already damaged. As a celestial venerable level treasure, besides its rare materials, it had an important feature. It contained a trace of origin power. Without origin power, no matter how strong the material, it couldn't be considered a celestial venerable level treasure. The Golden Lotus had been damaged, and its origin power was nearly destroyed, leaving only a faint trace. For others, this treasure was already ruined, and whether it was worth repairing was debatable. But for Lin Moyu, the value of this Golden Lotus was still extremely high. With a flick of his finger, a faint light emerged from his body, followed by the sound of chanting. In the midst of the chanting, the Buddha Kingdom Lich reappeared.
Let's see if it can absorb this.
The Buddha Kingdom Lich flew onto the Golden Lotus and sat down. At that moment, it really looked like a Buddha. Even if the elemental Lich dies, it can revive in a short time. As long as Lin Moyu is alive, the elemental Lich will never truly die. Previously, the Buddha Kingdom Lich had collapsed while peering into the future but revived after a few days. Moreover, the elemental Lich can absorb corresponding materials to grow and evolve, and for the Buddha Kingdom Lich, its growth has no limit. It only depends on whether there are suitable high-level materials. This Golden Lotus was the treasure of the ancient Buddha of the Golden Lotus, making it perfect. The Buddha Kingdom Lich sat on the Golden Lotus, its entire body enveloped in Buddha light. The originally dim Golden Lotus began to shine again. The light flowed like water into the Buddha Kingdom Lich, making it appear solemn and dignified. The Buddha Kingdom Lich, originally at the small celestial venerable level, began to surge in power.
It really works.
Lin Moyu smiled. The Buddha Kingdom Lich absorbing the Golden Lotus could enhance itself. He wondered how much it could enhance, whether it could reach the level of the Divine Power Lich. After all, The Golden Lotus still contained a trace of origin power from the Buddha clan of the Realm Sea. Lin Moyu didn't have high expectations and let things take their course. The Buddha Kingdom Lich quickly broke through to the celestial venerable level, and the Golden Lotus beneath it shrank. The materials of the Golden Lotus were the best nutrients for the Buddha Kingdom Lich, allowing it to break through realms without any obstacles. As the Golden Lotus was continuously absorbed, the Buddha Kingdom Lich grew stronger. On a vast land filled with Buddha statues, 108 suns hung in the sky. The suns cast countless golden rays, illuminating the land, which remained warm like spring without any heat. On the land, many people lined up, slowly moving along an endless road. Their eyes were full of devotion, constantly chanting Buddhist scriptures. Every 10 steps, they would kneel and prostrate. They didn't know how far they had walked or how long they had been walking. They never felt tired and didn't need to eat or drink. The light from the 108 suns provided them with endless energy. Occasionally, sweet rain would fall from the sky, erasing all hunger and healing any injuries or illnesses. This was a land without sickness or pain, filled with peace and harmony. The sound of chanting echoed, and the entire procession resembled an endless dragon, stretching towards the horizon. In the distance was a steep road leading to the sky, at the end of which seemed to be a Buddha kingdom with majestic Buddha statues. There were 108 such roads, converging from all directions. This was the Buddha realm, the holy land of the Buddha clan. Everyone on the land was there to worship and pay homage to the Buddha. One of the 108 suns suddenly emitted a golden light, shooting into the distance. The golden light traveled far, crossing mountains and rivers, entering the Realm Sea. The Realm Sea was boundless, and the golden light flew further and further. The golden light pointed directly at the great world floating in the Realm Sea. As the golden light entered the great world, it suddenly lost its target and exploded in midair. The dark sky of the Realm Sea lit up with golden brilliance, illuminating a large area of the sea. In the sea, monstrous fish leaped out in agitation. A golden Buddha appeared in the golden light, his gaze stern as he looked around.
Ahmed Ba, it's the Realm Sea.
Before he could see clearly, huge waves surged in the Realm Sea, and a black shadow flew out, charging at the Buddha. At the same time, a roar shook the Realm Sea.
The Realm Sea is not a place for your Buddha clan. Get out.
The golden Buddha's face changed drastically.
Wait.
But it was too late. The black shadow gave him no chance to explain and shattered the golden Buddha with a crash. The golden light dissipated, and the Realm Sea returned to darkness. In the holy land of the Buddha clan, a stern voice said,
The treasure of the ancient Buddha of the Golden Lotus has been completely destroyed and can no longer be tracked. The last location was the Realm Sea.
For a moment, there was much discussion among the sons.
How could it be the Realm Sea? What was the Golden Lotus doing in the Realm Sea? Could it be trying to spy on the origin of some world? What should we do now?
The stern voice spoke again.
Pass my decree. No one from the Buddha clan is to enter the Realm Sea. This matter ends here.
This statement settled the matter. The Realm Sea was not a place for the Buddha clan. The discussion stopped, and the Buddhas responded,
We obey the decree.
The discussions only spread in the sky. The devotees on the ground heard nothing, continuing their devout journey along the road to the Buddha kingdom. The Golden Lotus was completely absorbed by the Buddha Kingdom Lich. The Buddha Kingdom Lich's realm stabilized at the peak supreme level, on par with the Divine Power Lich.
There really was no bottleneck. It's truly amazing.
Absorbing the Golden Lotus allowed the Buddha Kingdom Lich to advance from a small celestial venerable to a peak supreme without any obstacles, which was indeed surprising. Lin Moyu once again marveled at the wonder of this spell. After reaching the peak supreme, the Buddha Kingdom Lich emitted a trace of origin aura, having absorbed and refined the remaining origin power in the Golden Lotus. This also proved that the Buddha Kingdom Lich could be effective even in the Realm Sea. Lin Moyu communicated with the Buddha Kingdom Lich to check its information. Buddha Kingdom Lich. Realm. Peak Supreme. Grade: perfect. Growth limit: none. Spells: Eternal Buddha Kingdom. Fate Path. Eternal Buddha Kingdom creates an eternal Buddha kingdom that can absorb souls to become followers. The more followers, the stronger the Buddha Kingdom Lich's combat power. Fate Path manipulates the power of fate to peer into the future and launch attacks within fate. Usable 3 times a day. 2375 2375. Chapter 2375. Ask too much and your sister will beat you. The Buddhist Lich materialized a golden lotus beneath itself, sitting upon it with hands in a graceful pose, exuding a solemn and majestic aura. Lin Moyu looked at the newly born Buddhist Lich, feeling increasingly mystified. Back then, the Buddhist Lich had no offensive power. The Buddha's realm in its palm was like a formation, with some weakening and amplifying effects, but its function wasn't obvious and it could only be used a handful of times. The Buddhist Lich's strongest ability was still the insight technique, which could be used to save lives or make judgments about future choices. The law of fate is a truly miraculous law. The mysterious master's ability to make arrangements spanning 2 million years was largely due to the Fate Sovereign's contributions. This time, having become a peak supreme, the Buddhist Lich gained offensive power. Although it didn't have many spells, each strike was a solid attack at the peak supreme level. The Buddha's realm in its palm became the eternal Buddha realm, which truly existed and persisted. It was like a world of rules belonging to the Buddhist Lich, where it could absorb the souls of the dead, turning them into believers. Moreover, the more believers there were, the stronger the Buddhist Lich became. As for how strong it could ultimately become, that depended on the number of believers. If there were enough believers, the Buddhist Lich might even break through the boundary between supreme and sovereign. The most crucial aspect was the way of fate, which was stronger than the former insight technique and could launch attacks within fate itself 3 times a day. Although the specific effects were unknown, Lin Moyu felt they wouldn't be insignificant. The Buddhist Lich had undergone a complete transformation. Apart from sharing the same name, it was entirely different from its former self.
When there's a chance, I'll give it a try.
Lin Moyu thought to himself as he put away the Buddhist Lich. Lin Mohan's cultivation also reached its final stage. As the sword energy storm gradually subsided, a terrifying sword engulfed in black flames burned fiercely behind Lin Mohan's back. The sword energy, tainted with black fire, spread out, continuously shattering the starry sky. With his current supreme realm, Lin Moyu could tell that Lin Mohan wasn't a supreme of the great world. The source power she obtained was unrelated to the great world.
Sister must have acquired source power in the Sea of Realms, thus ascending to supreme. Normally, sister should be suppressed in the great world. But she isn't. Is it because sister was born in the great world? Or is it because sister's source level is high enough?
All source power from outside the great world would be suppressed by the great world. Only in a few situations could this suppression be overcome. One situation was if Lin Mohan's source power was no lower in rank than the Great World Source. The Great World Source was 6th rank. The source that allowed Lin Mohan to become a supreme couldn't be lower than 6th rank. Only then would the Great World suppression be ineffective. The second possibility was that because Lin Mohan was born in the Great World, she bore its imprint. Although she became a supreme outside, the Great World still recognized her and didn't suppress her. Both situations were possible, and Lin Moyu didn't know which one it was. However, this wasn't important. As long as she was his sister, it was fine. The world-ending sword finally disappeared, and Lin Mohan's aura steadily settled at the high-level supreme realm, with an extremely solid foundation and no signs of instability. The realm increase through blood resonance had no adverse effects on her. Lin Mohan opened her eyes, her gaze sharp as a sword, slicing through the starry sky. Lin Moyu joked,
If an ordinary transcendent were to be looked at like that by sister, they probably wouldn't survive.
Lin Mohan let out a light shout.
Is everything finished?
Lin Moyu nodded.
It's finished.
Lin Mohan's tone suddenly changed.
Then we should discuss serious matters now.
Lin Moyu felt a sudden unease in his heart, having a bad feeling about this. Lin Mohan said,
For the past few hundred years, I didn't interfere because you had things to do. Adding that to the previous 1,000 years, let's settle all accounts, old and new. Tell me, why exactly aren't you having children?
Lin Moyu felt a headache coming on. He knew Lin Mohan would bring this up. No matter how much he tried to avoid it, he couldn't escape this predicament. Lin Moyu said resignedly,
Sister, it's not that I'm not trying to have children.
Lin Mohan replied,
If you're trying, why can't you have any? You could put in more effort.
Lin Moyu felt wronged, sensing that his sister was becoming unreasonable.
Am I not trying hard enough? Sister, why don't you ask Qinru and Yushu?
Over the years, he had indeed put in effort, but just couldn't conceive. On the other hand, Yu Qingrou's lifespan kept increasing due to his efforts. Combined with the stabilization from the Sea of Realms fishbones, her lifespan was now comparable to that of humans. But this seemed unrelated to not being able to have children. Thinking about how Luoshan came to be, it had nothing to do with this. Lin Mohan said,
I don't care about that. Not being able to have children means you're not trying hard enough. I promised grandmother that I would ensure the Lin family has descendants. You must have children.
Lin Moyu's headache worsened, but seeing Lin Mohan's stance as if ready to draw her sword at any moment, he could only submit. Blood suppression was unbeatable.
I will have children, definitely will. If worst comes to worst, when I reach the sovereign realm, I'll create one.
Lin Mohan raised an eyebrow.
How is one enough? At least 100. You need to establish roots and spread leaves here. After you leave, the Lin family line can't die out.
Lin Moyu instinctively replied,
All right, not just 100, even 1,000 or 10,000 is fine.
Suddenly, Lin Moyu closed his mouth. He realized there was an issue in Lin Mohan's words.
Sister, did you say I'll leave the great world in the future?
Lin Mohan looked at him.
You'll know when the time comes.
Lin Moyu frowned slightly, realizing that Lin Mohan must know something he didn't. Lin Moyu tried to get some information from Lin Mohan, appealing to their emotions.
Sister, there shouldn't be any secrets between us.
Lin Mohan interrupted him.
Don't try that with me. Some things will be told to you when the time is right. Don't ask now. Ask too much and your sister will beat you. All right.
Faced with Lin Mohan's assertiveness, Lin Moyu promptly chose to retreat. Lin Moyu recalled some childhood memories. Back then, Lin Mohan fought with other children for his sake, beating up those who bullied him until they cried loudly. After returning home, she didn't offer any comfort and even beat him up as well. The reason was actually that he was so useless that he couldn't even beat a few kids. Blood suppression was established from that time and remained unbreakable. Lin Mohan said,
Next, you should go to the Sea of Realms to hunt for source power and repair the great world, right?
Lin Moyu nodded.
Sister is correct.
Lin Mohan made an affirmative sound.
Then you go. I have to leave too.
Lin Moyu didn't ask where Lin Mohan was going. Just like the last time Lin Mohan left, Lin Moyu didn't ask. Lin Mohan had once said that everyone has their own path. Clearly, Lin Mohan also had her own path. Where this path came from, how she knew about it, and what exactly she knew, Lin Moyu had no idea. But someday in the future, Lin Mohan would tell him everything. Or perhaps one day he would learn everything through other means.
I'll send you there.
Lin Moyu had an idea and planned to open a spatial gate. Now that he had reached the Supreme Realm, his spatial gate could reach up to 200 million light-years, rivaling the space sovereigns of ancient times. Lin Moyu guessed that this might be due to his mastery of both time and space laws. The fusion of these two laws had a certain amplifying effect. Lin Mohan snorted lightly.
No need.
Saying this, the Sky-Earth sword flew into her hand, and she casually slashed. In an instant, a spatial rift was cut into the starry sky, reaching deep into space. Even the deep space was shattered by the sword energy, The space cut apart, leading to an unknown destination. Before entering the spatial rift, Lin Mohan's beautiful eyes coldly swept over Lin Moyu.
Have children quickly, or you know the consequences.
2376, 2376. Chapter 2376. The Erased Time Imprint. Having children and continuing the family line seemed to have become Lin Mohan's obsession. Lin Moyu could only feel helpless about this and said,
Try your best, maybe one day you'll get lucky.
If it really doesn't work, once reaching the celestial venerable realm, there might be a way. Celestial venerables can defy the heavens and change fate, so having children shouldn't be difficult either. After Lin Mohan left, the space gate opened, and Lin Moyu disappeared into the starry sky. After becoming a supreme, the remaining secrets in the great world were few, and the puzzles that once troubled him were being solved one by one. With his current realm, his birthplace, the small world, was considered a secret. The dungeons inside were extremely unusual, not like the self-evolution of a small world, nor like the evolution of the great world. In such a small world, there were 2 origin-level spells, the Divine Cauldron of China and the Staff of Calamity, which were supreme treasures. How could it be simple? The small world was just one of the secrets. Now that the small world had left, this secret remained unsolved for the time being. The second secret was the ancient battlefield. The existence of the ancient battlefield was equally unreasonable. The ancient battlefield had the marks of time, traces of great battles, and buildings that seemed to be from the divine summer tower. Moreover, in the ancient battlefield, Lin Moyu saw the writings left by Meng Anwen. It was clearly Meng Anwen of the current era, yet he left writings in the distant ancient battlefield. This sense of temporal dislocation left Lin Moyu puzzled to this day. This time, Lin Moyu came to the ancient battlefield again, trying to find answers.
Hopefully, I can gain something.
Lin Moyu said softly, the laws in his palm surging, and the laws of time rolled out, enveloping the entire ancient battlefield.
Time reversal.
The star river of the laws of time suddenly appeared, along with the river of time. The river of time was faintly visible in the distance. The star river of laws cast shadows, searching for the time imprint of the ancient battlefield in the river of time, hoping to find answers. In the shadows, an ancient battlefield appeared, and the time imprint began to overlap. Time continued to flow backward 100,000 years, 200,000 years. The ancient battlefield did not seem to change. Sometimes cultivators would come here, but they would leave in an instant. However, Lin Moyu could still feel some differences. In different eras, the ancient battlefield had different marks. Time always leaves traces, even for treasures at the celestial venerable level. New things and old things always have differences. The ancient battlefield was the same. The ancient battlefield from 500,000 years ago had subtle differences from the current ancient battlefield. But these differences were meaningless. They were just traces of time. Lin Moyu had already reached the supreme realm, and using time reversal was much easier and more natural. In the past, he exhausted all his strength and could only reverse time for 700,000 years. Now, even at 800,000 years, it was still easy. The World Tree provided Lin Moyu with soul power, and he felt that his soul power was still abundant, with the replenishment speed still exceeding the consumption speed. Lin Moyu felt that the origin power of the Great World also played a role. The origin power reduced his consumption, making his spells easier to use. From the shadows, he saw the ancient battlefield from 800,000 years ago, which was not much different from now.
The ancient battlefield is even older. Perhaps it can be traced back to ancient times.
With this thought, Lin Moyu continued to reverse time. When the reversal exceeded 1 million years, the consumption of soul power suddenly increased, finally surpassing the replenishment speed of the World Tree. Lin Moyu was not anxious and continued to reverse time. At the same time, he activated several soul beads, which released soul power at a very steady rate, assisting the World Tree in replenishing soul power. As time went further back, the consumption of soul power began to increase sharply. Fortunately, Lin Moyu was well prepared and had as many soul beads as needed. Dozens, hundreds, even hundreds of soul beads were used to replenish his soul power. Finally, time reached 2 million years ago, when the Great World and the Black Blood Great Realm were engaged in a world war. The ancient battlefield finally changed, and in that moment, Lin Moyu saw a complete ancient battlefield. The divine Summer Tower stood in the center of the battlefield, countless warriors surrounding it, roaring in unison, their battle intent soaring to the sky. Just as he saw this clearly, the shadows disappeared. The Star River of Laws disappeared, and Lin Moyu's gaze became solemn.
Someone erased the time imprint of the ancient battlefield. Why would they do that?
Erasing a time imprint is not something anyone can do. To achieve this, one must either be a celestial venerable or a supreme who has mastered the laws of time. Even for him, it would be very strenuous. The key question is, why would someone erase the time imprint of the ancient battlefield? It was clearly to prevent others from exploring it.
What exactly happened in the ancient battlefield during ancient times? At that time, the ancient battlefield was still intact, and it was indeed the divine Summer Tower. Those warriors created by formations looked very powerful, their combat strength not weak, seemingly even surpassing saint sovereigns.
Lin Moyu was unwilling to give up, staring at the ancient battlefield without blinking. After half a day, his soul power fully recovered, and Lin Moyu performed time reversal again. This time, the target was not the ancient battlefield but the starry sky near the ancient battlefield. The time imprint of the ancient battlefield had been erased, and he could only see events within the last 2 million years. At that time, the ancient battlefield was already damaged, so looking at it was meaningless. Since that was the case, he decided to look at the changes in the nearby starry sky, hoping to find some information. Time reversed again, quickly reaching 2 million years ago. Lin Moyu saw countless cultivators appearing in the starry sky, including soldiers from the Black Blood Great Realm and human cultivators. But just as he saw this, the time reversal was interrupted again.
Even the time imprint of the starry sky was erased? What exactly is the other party trying to hide?
Lin Moyu became even more unwilling.
If one ancient battlefield doesn't work, I'll try another. I don't believe that the time imprint of every ancient battlefield has been erased.
Lin Moyu went to find other ancient battlefields. There were many ancient battlefields, and he tried them one by one. Lin Moyu traveled through the Divine City Star domain, constantly performing time reversal, searching one ancient battlefield after another. But the more he searched, the more shocked he became. No matter which ancient battlefield he searched, the time imprints were all erased. Even the time imprints of the nearby starry sky were erased, and he could only see events within the last 2 million years.
Was it him? It seems that no one else has this ability. If it was really him, why would he do this? Him.
Lin Moyu referred to was the strongest person in the great world, the mysterious master, the one closest to becoming a Tao Venerable. Only he could achieve this. After the Great War ended, the celestial venerables left in disappointment, busy preparing to leave the great world. Only he continued to work for the great world, making various arrangements. Although Lin Moyu didn't understand why he did this, he believed that if it was really him, there must be a reason beyond his understanding. After searching most of the ancient battlefields and consuming most of his soul beads, he knew that continuing the search would yield the same results, so he had to give up. Lin Moyu felt somewhat helpless.
It seems I can't get the answer now.
Hoping for an opportunity in the future, he sighed lightly and opened the space gate to leave. In the human divine city, in Lin Moyu's private manor, Yuju and Yuqingrou's eyes were filled with happiness as they nestled beside Lin Moyu. Yuju gently raised her white jade arm to pour tea for Lin Moyu, softly saying,
Did sister leave?
Lin Moyu nodded.
She went to pursue her own path.
Yuqingrou asked,
What about you, husband?
Lin Moyu replied,
Everyone has their own path, and so do I.
Yuju's pretty face changed slightly.
Are you leaving again, husband?
Lin Moyu gently nodded.
I need to leave for a while, but I'll take you with me.
2377 2377. Chapter 2377. The True Meaning of Entering the Sea of Realms. At the edge of the Great World, Buddhist chants echoed as the Buddhist lich appeared in the dim starry sky. The Buddhist lich threw a punch without any spells, appearing ordinary. This punch was indeed equivalent to that of a peak supreme, shattering and annihilating the starry sky as it passed through. The world barrier was immediately smashed open, revealing the Sea of Realms in sight. This time, the Sea of Realms did not surge in through the gap. The Great World seemed to have a peculiar force blocking the Sea of Realms. Now the Great World had stopped its collapse and regained most of its control. The gaps at the edge had almost all disappeared. Even if gaps appeared, it was no longer possible for the Sea of Realms to freely surge in as before. The power of the Sea of Realms and the strange fish inside were incompatible with the Great World. Their existence would disrupt the integrity of the Great World. That's why years ago, the mysterious master had the sole sovereign order the Ghost Clan to go to the Sea of Realms and carry out a mission lasting 1,000,000 years. The mysterious master had foreseen that the Great World, with its damaged source, would certainly be disturbed by the Sea of Realms. The Ghost Clan moved around the edge, constantly clearing out the Sea of Realms that surged into the Great World and repairing the gaps. Now, the Great World itself had the power to resist the Sea of Realms, and the threat from the Sea of Realms no longer existed. Lin Moyu looked at the gap and muttered to himself,
The Ghost Clan is going to be unemployed.
Without the threat of the Sea of Realms and strange fish, the Ghost Clan's mission had come to an end. Putting away the Buddhist lich, Lin Moyu took a step and had already left the Great World. This time, he didn't rely on the Sea of Realms shell but left the Great World using his own power, without time constraints. The Sea of Realms was still dim, with little light. Coming to the Sea of Realms again after becoming a supreme, Lin Moyu had a completely different feeling. He could sense a bond between himself and the Great World, a bond constructed from source power, allowing him to move within a certain range around the Great World. Previously, when he came, his range of activity was 10,000 meters. Beyond that, he would lose his sense of the Great World and easily get lost. Now, his connection with the Great World was closer, and his range of activity had greatly increased. The Rules World appeared, and Yuzhu and Yuqingru flew out from it. Their eyes were filled with curiosity as they looked at the vast, surging Sea of Realms. The vastly different aura from the Great World constantly assailed them, entering their bodies and penetrating their souls. Having lived in the Great World since childhood, both felt somewhat uncomfortable, but this was normal. The two finally saw the Great World beneath them. Yuzhu exclaimed,
Is this our Great World?
Lin Moyu nodded slightly.
Clever.
Hearing Lin Moyu's praise, Yuzhu's pretty face broke into a charming smile, feeling elated. Yuqingru also said,
So this is what our Great World looks like. It's just drifting in the Sea of Realms, seeming very lonely.
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
It's better to be a bit lonely. The struggle between worlds is very cruel. The Great World has come through encounter after encounter of world struggles, barely surviving. For now, let's let it have some peace.
The two naturally understood the reasoning behind this. The cruelty of world struggles was even above that of racial struggles. Lin Moyu said,
You two will cultivate in the Rules World during this time. The Sea of Realms is very dangerous, with constant impacts that you might not be able to withstand.
Yuqingru said,
We understand. Husband, you must also be careful.
Lin Moyu smiled slightly.
Don't worry.
This time he came to the Sea of Realms, he brought Yuzhu and Yuqingru along. The time flow in the Sea of Realms differed from the Great World by 10,000 times. Lin Moyu feared that if he happened to be delayed in the Sea of Realms for a few years, tens of thousands of years would have passed in the Great World, which would be an unimaginable torment for Yuzhu and Yuqingru. It was better to bring them along so nothing would happen. Lin Moyu directly copied the manner from God City into the Rules World, trying to make the two feel as comfortable as possible. Putting away the Rules World, Lin Moyu's expression gradually became serious.
It's about to begin.
hunting strange fish, obtaining source crystals, replenishing source power for the great world. Lin Moyu's purpose in coming to the Sea of Realms was very clear. He plunged into the Sea of Realms, heading straight for the seabed. The power in the Sea of Realms constantly bombarded his body, as if someone was continuously hammering him from all directions. This impact force would require at least the Saint Sovereign Realm for ordinary cultivators to withstand. Lin Moyu had tried it before, but now at the Supreme Realm he could easily endure it. Golden light flowed over his physical body, and the undying golden body easily blocked the impacts from the Sea of Realms. As the distance from the great world increased, the bond between them remained firm, not weakening. Even when the distance exceeded 10,000 meters, the bond remained. Lin Moyu continued to dive towards the seabed. The first step was to determine how far he could maintain contact with the great world, thus calculating his range of activity. As the distance increased, Lin Moyu could feel the connection between himself and the great world gradually weakening. When the distance reached 100,000 meters, his connection with the great world had become very faint. Lin Moyu stopped at 100,000 meters.
100,000 meters is the limit. Although going beyond 100,000 meters doesn't necessarily mean getting lost, for safety's sake, it's better to keep the distance within 100,000 meters. 100,000 meters is just a small area in the scope of the Sea of Realms. Looking at it this way, the human emperor's luck back then was truly good. His range of activity must have been even smaller, yet he managed to find such an amazing treasure.
Lin Moyu suddenly had a flash of inspiration.
Perhaps I can try another method.
He suddenly thought of another method and quickly returned to the great world. He summoned the skeleton general and had it stick to the great world. There was a connection between Lin Moyu and the skeleton general. He often used the skeleton general for positioning in the secret realm, and he could do the same here. Lin Moyu entered the Sea of Realms again. This time, he not only relied on the bond with the great world for positioning but also used the skeleton general for positioning. As the distance increased, Lin Moyu found that not only was the bond's connection weakening, but the sense of the skeleton general was also weakening. There was a strange force in the Sea of Realms that affected the connection between him and the skeleton general. The distance again reached 100,000 meters. At this point, the sense of the great world was very faint, as if it could break at any moment. Fortunately, the connection with the skeleton general still existed and was fairly clear. Lin Moyu paused for a few seconds, then steeled himself and crossed the 100,000-meter range. Bang! A light sound came from his soul, as if a taut string had suddenly snapped. He knew he could no longer contact the great world through the original bond. The great world was constantly moving in the Sea of Realms. Once contact was lost, it was extremely easy to lose direction. He retreated a few steps, and when the distance returned to 100,000 meters, the connection with the great world was restored. Lin Moyu chuckled.
It really is 100,000 meters, not a meter more. Fortunately, the connection with the skeleton general still exists, so I can still position myself.
Lin Moyu continued to swim downwards. The next step was to test the sensing range of the skeleton general. Lin Moyu was very careful this time, slowing down his speed for fear of suddenly losing contact if he went too fast. Truly entering the Sea of Realms and carefully conducting tests gave Lin Moyu a special feeling. It was like when he first entered the corpse realm, also experimenting step by step. This feeling was quite nostalgic. 2378.